Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. My favorite makeup today is this. This is the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Shell. So I was originally using this as a sample and I really loved it, and then I bought the stick and I was having a really hard time getting the stick to work, but I think I finally figured out exactly how much product to put on my face, and then I've been buffing it out with a brush, which I think has helped considerably in making this go on better. So I finally figured out how to use this thing properly, so I'm really enjoying it this week. And now on to the video. And today's video is Drugstore Holographic Highlighters. There's a lot of them. This is just but a small sample of what is available to you. But this is what I picked up yesterday. The exception of this, I've actually had this. I bought this at CVS. I just haven't opened it yet. And then these two guys I picked up at Ulta yesterday because I actually have an Ulta nearby where I'm staying. So I got to explore the Ulta and see all the weird shiny stuff that they've got. So there'll be a couple of videos of some other things I picked up there as well. But today we're just going to focus on the highlighters. First up, we have the Revlon Photoready Galaxy Dream Holographic Highlighting Palette in 003. There's another one as well, but this is the one I was looking for. This one is the one that has sort of like the cool tone blue and pink and I guess peachy color. So that's the first shades that we're going to look at today. This thing retails for $14.99. I didn't pay full price for it, admittedly, because I had CVS extra care bucks. You can also often get this at Ulta on sale, like buy one, get one 50% off. But, you know, regular price $14.99, so that's what you're working with here. So you are getting 14.4 grams of product with this, and what you're supposed to get is a multicolored prismatic glow. Duochrome Pearl provides an out-of-this-world holographic multifaceted highlight. Well, that's a bold statement, so let's see how these swatch. And these are the swatches. You're basically getting sort of like a pinky shade on the top, a really beautiful green actually, it's got a very nice shift to it, blue, and then at the bottom it's actually a purple highlighter. These swatch very smoothly. They are actually very soft. They go on very well. They do not look very chunky on the skin. They're not necessarily the brightest highlighter I've ever had, but you know, considering the price point, they look pretty nice on my hand. They felt pretty nice going on, and they're not super powdery, which was what I was sort of expecting from these. So just looking at it, can I see if there's any duplicates? I would say that that pink shade is very similar to most pink shades like ABH Moonchild, Kat Von D Alchemist, that kind of thing. The green is probably very similar to Lucky Clover or the emerald shade in those palettes as well. This blue shade's not as intense as other blue highlighters I have, though it is a pretty one, and this bottom one, this pinky one, this pinky purple, it really reminds me the most of my NYX Duochrome in Lavender Steel. That I think would be the closest just looking at it, but I don't have that one with me to swatch against, but I am going to swatch against the Alchemist palette to see if there's any similarities there. And yeah, so on this side is the Revlon and this side is the Alchemist palette. Especially the purples do not match really at all, but if you can see, it's a similar look with the other colors, but the Alchemist palette is definitely more wham bam in your face, and the Moonchild is going to be as well. So these are definitely a much subtler highlight, although they do cost a lot less. You know, it's what you want and what sort of highlighter you're looking for. So this is the Milani Hypnotic Lights in Luminous Light. This is 02. There was another one at the store. This one just had a color that appealed to me slightly more. This one I think was slightly more purple, and the other one was more pink, and I'm always going to go for the purple if I have the option, so that's why I picked it. What this one says it's going to do, spectrum of prismatic pearl pigments that play with light for a hypnotizing glow. So this is supposed to create a color-shifting shimmering prism effect by layering over blush and eyeshadow, dust on eyelids, lips, face, and body for a holographic highlight. So again, holographic highlight. And this one retails for $12.99, and you are getting 8.5 grams of product. The packaging on this is really quite lovely. The plastic is very sturdy. There isn't a mirror, but it does look very beautiful. I assume they're sort of going for that you know, a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed look here, so they're definitely achieving that. Like, it looks very beautiful in the pan, so let's get a little swatch of that. And over here is the Milani. I left the Alchemist palette just so you get an idea of the differences there, although this Milani is quite lovely. This is reminding me a bit of Lilac Geode, actually, in the Becca's, that I didn't purchase because it was a little too expensive for me, and I didn't know how much I would love that color, but that's really quite beautiful, actually. I'm going to take a look and see if I have anything else that is very similar to the Milani, that is maybe not necessarily considered a holographic highlighter, but would look similar to it. And I would say my closest duplicate would be from the Becca Ocean Jewels highlighter palette in pink Pyrite. That is the most similar of all the highlighters I currently have with me. I do not have my entire collection, so I can't swatch against everything, but that is probably the closest. The Becca is obviously a little bit shinier, but the Milani's kind of holding its own. That Milani looks absolutely beautiful, so I'm very pleased about that one, to be honest. And next we're going to go on to swatch the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cool Glow palette. Now I'm not positive this actually identifies as a holographic palette, but just look at this packaging. Clearly it wants you to think that it is. It also looks like it's trying to be kind of a duplicate for Anastasia Moonchild, just bigger. And I mean, this is $15 and you're getting 19 grams of product. I did swatch this one in stores before I bought it, as I tend to do if there's a tester available, which is why I ended up picking it up. Because I've had other Makeup Revolution highlighters and they're fine, they're just not my favorite. So I wasn't sure I needed this necessarily, but for $15 to get this many highlighter shades, I really did just want to try it out. So these are all the shades that you get. Don't mind any sound outdoors. There's either construction or a garbage truck going on out there. We're just gonna pretend everything's fine. So just so you know, I'm gonna take this pink, this sort of like purple, this green, and this purple, and put those next to the Alchemist palette first, and then I'll put the rest of them below that. And so here are the swatches with the Makeup Revolution down here against the Kat Von D Alchemist palette. These glide on very smoothly. They have more of like an oily texture as opposed to a powdery one, which I'm enjoying. And the colors are really quite beautiful. They didn't go off too chunky. In terms of a color match to the Kat Von D, it's not exactly, and I would say that there is sort of a couple of these purple shades, but especially this one right here. This one does not really have very good color payoff, nor is it terribly different from the other two purpley shades. So that one's probably the weakest of them all, but I have to say, like, the gold and the silver highlighter, those look amazing. I don't think I have a silver highlighter that quite looks like that, so I'm pretty excited. The pigment is obviously not quite the same as like the Alchemist palette, but it's really not bad. I cannot complain as far as that is concerned. The color match is not quite exact. The green is very similar, sort of like the bluish one. You can sort of dupe out the purple and the green in terms of shade, although they're not quite as blinding, but they're pretty close considering. The other ones just don't really have an analogous color, but that's okay because they're definitely very interesting. Like that silver's pretty cool. So now we're gonna need to swatch some stuff on the face. So I think I'm actually gonna swatch that silver highlight from this palette on one side of my face, and I'm really curious to see what the Milani looks like on the other side, and then we'll go back and we'll catch up with that Revlon Galaxy Dream. So there's a little bit of kick up with the Makeup Forever, but let's try to apply that and see how that looks. Ooh. I'm not mad about that at all. Well, that looks quite nice on the skin. Now, I'm not expecting this to last all day. These generally don't. But, you know, for a couple of hours, I'd be really excited if they did. Put a little bit more on. Like a frosty robot. Okay, I'm definitely into that color. That's very beautiful. All right, and now we're going to try the Milani on the other side. I just love the pattern on this. It's just so pretty. Not a lot of kick up on that. When you dust off, you don't really get a lot coming off. Let's see how that looks. Ooh. This is actually reminding me a lot of how my Prismatic Amethyst from Becca looks on my face, although this isn't as purple, but it's like a really beautiful like inner glow to it. I quite like that. Hooray. Maybe I will pick the other one up, who knows. And for this one, I'm going to try to tap a little on my eyelids to see if this is useful as an eyeshadow. Because as a highlighter, these pans are a little tiny. I'm not really going to get my brush in there. But I'd like to see if how they look on the actual skin. So we're going to try, let's see, we're going to try that green shade on one side and like the slight little lavendery shade on the other. I'd say you get a decent amount of pigment with just your finger. It appears to be something you could pack on the lid. So, you know, I'm not upset with it. These are definitely the weakest in terms of the way they feel on the skin and the payoff you're actually getting on your face. However, it does have a really nice mirror, and I would say this is probably like a good starter palette for somebody who hasn't really tried a lot of holographic stuff and they didn't want to commit to like the $40 Anastasia palette, or they're not sure they're gonna like it. So if you're looking for like a subtle shimmery duochrome-ish thing, you might want to try this. Now, the real question is, are any of these actually holographic highlighters? And to be honest, no, none of them really are holographic highlighters, even though they want to be. They're definitely all shimmery highlighters. I would say some of them do have the duochrome effect. I would say the Makeup Revolution, at least some of the shades have a duochrome effect. Not all of them, but some of the I would say the purple and the green and the pink have a bit of a duochrome. The other ones are just, you know, a chrome, like the silver, the gold, and like the sort of coppery shade. Those don't have a shift to them. They're just that color. They're still a pretty highlighter, but you know, that's not what they're doing. Not that this necessarily is claiming to do that. They're just sort of jumping on that bandwagon by having the shimmer packaging. This Milani is not, I wouldn't call this holographic. It's just a really beautiful, like, pinky, shifty highlighter, but it is very beautiful. Like, I like this highlighter, I'm not mad at it, but I wouldn't call this holographic either. And these aren't holographic. They don't really shift at all. They're pretty, but there is a duochrome aspect to these. It's just a lot lighter, but this also not holographic. It's just the word everybody wants to use, but you're not getting a rainbow on your face with these. You're getting whatever the color is that you're putting on, and maybe one other, but that's it. Quality, I would say the Milani is definitely my favorite. Although it's not the most interesting of the shades, it's a very beautiful shade. And if you're looking for a good dupe for like a Becca product, this looks very similar on the skin. It applies very nicely, and it's a very nice, like, natural looking highlight. So this is actually very beautiful, and I'm glad I picked this up. This Revlon Galaxy Dreams, I'm gonna play with it for a while. I'll probably use it as sort of like the companion palette that I don't worry if I break it, because I'm not super invested in this guy, and I have other highlighters that are more impressive than this, but this does have a very nice mirror. So if you're looking to get started with that kind of, you know, holographic highlighting palette, if you're looking for that sort of like shimmery, something besides like a champagne highlight, you might try this guy out. It'll be subtle, you can build it up, and it might look very nice on your skin. You should try that out. So this is an inexpensive option for you, and it does have a very nice mirror. As for this guy, frankly, I'm really enjoying the weird funky colors that they have. This one in particular though, that one's a fail that really doesn't show up very well, but you know, the other guys show up very nicely. That silver is beautiful, and I'm also really intrigued by the gold. So while this isn't necessarily a holographic palette either, it's a nice inexpensive dupe, and you get a lot of product for this because this is only $15. This costs the same actually as this does pretty much. It's penny difference. You're getting more shades in this, and this is a little less powdery. It glides on a lot easier. However, this is going to last you for 24 months without expiring, and this is going to last you 12. So, you know, you do you, you decide what's best for you. So holographic highlighters? No. Nice shimmery highlighters? Sure. So pick out what works best for you and your skin. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please subscribe. If you've got a suggestion for a video you'd like to see me do, please put that in the comments below. And I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I will see you all soon. Bye!